when I think of this space, of what is a workshop, often we think that there is an issue with this kind of like contrast between our daily life and how inspiring a workshop is, okay? Did you ever feel like that? Like I should be able to reach this type of experiences at home. I don't know if you ever had this type of thought, or at least like, how is it like so different? But, if I think of, this sense of creating something or to solve a problem or whatever, like that shouldn't be a question. Like in a way, in this moment of inspirations, you are here listening to Armando and you might feel, man, I'm just writing 5 pages and what I need is this line to, to apply in my life and so on. But like the inspiration kicks in, my first big encouragement is that you welcome these inspirations and then you just let them be poured into you, okay? There will be time, and that's like the second step, there will be time to manifest, but like, something that it really came to me in one of these poems was, this inspiration, it's for you, but it's not because of you, okay? This is being given to you. Like if you think about inspiration is not scientific thought. It's not rational. It's not a math equation. I mean, maybe the solution to a math equation can be kind of like a certain amount of inspiration, but you are here and it's a rarity to feel inspiration in our lives, okay? It's the rarity. In many cultures, creative cultures, they call the muse visited you, or what is the muse? Like some type of, godly power came to you and give you kind of like an answer to what is happening to you. So in that sense, I want to see this type of inspiration as something that is coming, external and is given to me, right? I am only a receptor of this inspiration. And to me, this is clarity, okay? In many aspects. I'm not saying it's the only type of clarity, but this will look like clarity when you look back, okay? You will keep walking. And this moment of inspiration, of revelation, is a moment of clarity. And it's good not to be skeptical about this process, okay? If you're skeptical, if you become skeptical about your inspirations, about those ideas that gave you a vision of who you can be, of what you can create, then what do we have? Like what other way do we have to, to recreate ourselves and to move forward? You get me? Like there must be certain amount of, of a starting point, like the idealistic you, like all the motivation, like everything is here. And if we don't see this as clarity, if we look back and we thought, I was just like so naive in that workshop, or I was like brainwashed or whatever, it's like, but because I don't see it through the lens of only a workshop, because this happened, if you're trying to be an artist, or if you try to take your life as a creative process, like we just can't. Like if we doubt this, we don't have an access to the source, okay? We don't have an access to a lot of answers. Out of all this, material, internal material, we need to make a decision. We need to make a commitment. We need to manifest that vision. And it's very different. Like it's a very different step along the way. Like, a lot of inspiration was like, yes, Javi, like, why do you keep not doing artistic things? Like, why, like, go for it. You are living it, you are experiencing it. You are like, you are this is where you thrive, or where you really, part of you, the best part of you comes out. So that's how I feel, but I need to make a decision. I need to say, okay, from now on, I'm gonna do this. Or in the next year, in the next week, in the next 5 years, and the ultimate goal, right? We want to do something that will last the rest of our lives. So we need to make this specific, concrete manifestation of all this inspiration, right? Otherwise, even if I said this is like welcome it, just like even dwell on it, like capture everything, without this next step, like what was this for, really? But then the journey begins. We actually go forward. And I think the first thing that you realize when, let's say you leave home or you start this adventure, or, like you decide to do this in your life and you actually start and so on, is that, how it felt to do this commitment, how this inspiration felt. It almost has nothing to do with how the process is. And we might get lost on this. We start the process and it's like, okay, this is not very inspiring. I had this idea to write a song and my guitar strings are untuned. Like, nobody wants to hear this untuned guitar. Then I have to tune it. Oh, like once, and I would call this the process, right? This is this beautiful word. Maybe it's overused, but I really love this word very much. This is the process. So we can't compare how the process feels with how the inspiration felt to do this and how the commitment is telling us to go forward. I often, when I decide to do some type of adventure, I remember when I went on my first long hike with my cousin. I was 22, I think. We decided to hike through the Canary Islands for a month. No tent, just like sleeping in the floor. I mean, it didn't rain that much in that season, but anyway, it was this very adventurous and key essential experience of my life. If I look back, that experience was one of the most transformative experience of my life. You should have seen me 2 days before. I didn't want to do it. When I talked to him, I was inspired. When I committed, I was clear. Time to take the flight. I don't want to do this. Really, I did because it was part of a documentary I was making for my university. I was recording a little bit of my reactions, not much, but it was so interesting because I was telling to the camera, I don't want to do this. Like, what's wrong with me, Kind of like, what's wrong with me? Like, shouldn't I feel this way? Shouldn't I be more, like, how is it possible I'm doubting it in this very moment? But sometimes it's just how it is. I can't describe it in other way. Like, maybe it's like a first little test, this like jump into the abyss, or this leap of faith. So, this journey that we embark will not feel or look the way that we thought it would. But that's great, okay? That's great, because the first thing, this is something that I was reminded by Johnny because of his morning service, is that what you thought you would learn or that you needed in order to accomplish this commitment very often will be different to what you expected. You committed, I want to go on this 3-day hike, I want to go on this whatever it is, and then suddenly you are receiving a lesson from a thing that you were not expecting to, and that's something, in a way, you can't plan that here in these stages. You can't plan in this workshop that you're gonna, I don't know, do a condition or like study the degree that you're passionate about, and you think you know what you're gonna learn, or you think you know internally and spiritually what do you need, right? It would be often this experience But in a way, it's not contradictory. It's like, yeah, because I didn't know. That's why I had to commit, because I didn't know. And then you have this experience that make it clear, okay, that's why. Okay, that's why. And another simple thing is that it's not that this process is like a straight line. This will be, oh my goodness. This will be like a whole canvas of going around, and like I do like this and I get lost and I have to think again and this and that and da 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 da. And that's just how it is, okay? I remember it was such a small moment, oh my goodness. But this happens so often. So I took a lot of pictures in Japan. And anyway, my relationship with photography is, anyway, it has been complicated. But I was so inspired to take pictures there. I was very inspired. I think Yo-Yo can witness that because it was annoying. We are walking, Yo-Yo's talking to me. Anyway, because I get annoyed when someone does that to me, so I do it a lot. So I thought, oh, so much inspiration. I'm gonna do this project of kind of like a photography book with the best pictures I took in Japan, you know? So that was it. And this was just in 5 minutes, okay? I was arranging the pictures and I was thinking, this is terrible. This is so bad. These pictures are so boring. And I kid you not, I just maybe edited 2 more. I arranged them and I was like, this is so good, man. This is amazing. Like, oh my God. You know, so it's not a straight line. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And we don't want to be blinded by the ups and downs, really. We don't, you know, even if, of course, it feels good that suddenly things make sense, it's like, no, I want to stick to this project. I will finish it until the end. Or I will work on this quality that I said that I would. I will finish this condition. I will finish this course, you know. Because, yeah, there's something about finishing, okay? Finishing something. I think we too often feel too trapped. Like we doubt so much this process that we don't see really there is so much to learn in how we finish something, right? And that's Abraham with the pigeons. The journey, you learn things that you were not expected that you needed. There is ups and downs. And you learn the power of consistency, okay? This is where consistency has to be there. Like the C word, consistent. Anyway, there's many C words. Consistency. Here, it doesn't matter how I feel. I'm going to work on this day in, day out. That's like maybe another part of the process. Here, I need to show up to work. I said I would do this, I'm going to do it. I don't feel like it, I'm going to do it. I feel inspired, I'm going to do it. Because then you see that in this consistency, it doesn't matter how you feel, you are getting closer to the destination. So I think consistency should be like such a, you know, like pillar of how we convey our lives and definitely our spiritual lives. So maybe to give it from a different angle, the pilgrim. You know, the pilgrim might think that what he wants is to reach Santiago de Compostela, okay? To reach the final destination. But the pilgrim, when he's walking, he doesn't want to skip any step along the way. He doesn't just be instantly transported to Santiago de Compostela. Yo-Yo is like, no. He or she doesn't want to, because this is where the game is, in a sense, right? So the pilgrim does, in a way, the pilgrim doesn't want to arrive to Santiago at some point, because he's learning so much. He's like discovering so much. He's like understanding his own reality that is like, I don't want to get there. Like, it's so helpful that I have to get there, but I don't want to get there, you know? So now we come to the darkest hour. Let's say here, the darkest hour. And I will tell another story. Okay, it's not a story slash testimony. So I prepare for a marathon. I don't know, wait. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, I think after summer last year, I was so clear on my purpose, or like, okay, this is like a challenge day, right? Like, in a way, it's like a representation. I told myself, yeah, basically, it's a challenge day. It was a challenge day marathon for me. I don't know why, like, something gave me confidence, and I was like, oh, you've trained for 4:30. Why don't you go for under 4, you know? And like, at some point, I was like, 3:45, and I'm like, calm down, okay? Relax, brother. You have knee issues, um, which is true. But I was like so clear, like, this is for yo-yo, and I'm running under 4. And anyway, marathon starts. The first half, I was floating. You know, I was even under my pace. I think I could have done 3:50 or so. But already halfway through, this left knee pain that I know very well. You know, he's kind of like my friend. Um, Shows up when I don't train enough. It just started, and I'm like, oh my god. By that moment, I knew if I want to finish this, I need to run with this pain for 2 hours. And I was like, okay, let's do this, you know. So I was already like, I don't know if I was limping, I just couldn't. Anyway, when you run for so long, you don't know how it looked like when you're running. Um, but then I had another fear, which happened often, which is what if my other leg start hurting, my right knee? So I think it was already after 20 minutes, my other knee started hurting. It's like a very sharp pain, like in between, I don't know how you call this and this. And I was like usually, and Yo-Yo can witness, or this, or people who have run with me, is like when that happens after 1K, I stop because I feel this is not good. This is dangerous. Or like dangerous, like I don't want to injure myself. It's really painful. And if it's just one leg, I just go like, hey, 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 kind of like dancing. And I just remember really when they were both knees, I was about to cry on the spot. I was like, if I can't do this for 2 hours, like I really can't, you know, I was just getting so emotional. Like it was really, I was kind of like confident, but like before that and in the moment, it's like, I might not make it, you know, I might not make it. And it was, I think, like for 30 minutes or like 20 minutes, I don't know, it felt very long. I was like wrestling with idea if I'm gonna go for this or not, you know? Because of course I could go just walk and I would make it and I would, but it was this idea because I told myself I'm gonna do under 4 for yo-yo. Do I go for this or not, you know? And I was like wrestling, like, okay. And the wrestling was basically, do I accept this pain or not? Do I accept it's gonna feel like this for the next 2 hours? Yes or no? I mean, this happens rarely, I would say, but I think it's going to happen. And I really feel, God, I can't do this. Like, really, I can't. Like, I can't. And you know, like seeing people walking or stopping, or it was really even like this idea was just so present. Like, if you stop right now, the pain is gone, Javi, because that's how it works with my knee pain. So it was really like so intense. Like, I mean, it's, I guess it's hard to describe. I mean, just challenge day, okay, peak challenge day, and like, yeah, I was shouting this, like not shouting, but telling myself like, you know, where are you now? Like, how am I gonna do this? Like, I really need you in this moment, right? And I mean, in that moment, like part of me felt like difficult for thinking that. And I think it was already after the marathon, and I don't know how it was, but I was, anyway, I grabbed some food, you know, already like the adrenaline was gone, and we were in a building and I could see myself like walking. So I was walking and I saw myself, and like, yeah, it was this feeling that it wasn't me asking, that I need you now, but it was this sense that, okay, if you're doing this for someone, if you're doing for a cause, it's me who needs you right now. It was really like this kind of like mirror experience, like, and I think the song shares it very well. Like, okay, you are shouting, okay, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? But actually, in those moments, it's also God asking you, where are you? Now is when I need you. Now I know, Javi, like, okay, this is just a challenge day or whatever marathon. You're in pain, but now is when I need you to show, right? Now is when I need you to do it. And I was like, yeah, that's the darkest hour. It's not our darkest hour, right? It's not only this experience of self that it's for your own sake. No, it's because you did make this commitment, and hopefully, right? Hopefully, this commitment will always be about other people, right? We love God, but we want to love other people. So, for me, it was, in a way, it was a marathon and it had certain meaning, but there will be the moment that it will be a person needing you, or like you yourself need to get over something, right? And you might ask God, you might ask the universe, ask your fate and your destiny, why is this happening to me? Why don't you help me now? But I think it's helpful to have this mentality. Yeah, maybe now is the time. Now is the time that God is asking us that. Yeah, and I think that's unavoidable. It's unavoidable that we'll be tested, or we will be in a moment of darkness. We might call it, what, like, it's a battle between good and evil, Satan or God or whatever, but it's like this moment that will define your whole journey. This last 10%, this cutting the doves, this will define your whole journey, your whole workshop experience, university experience, gap year, whatever it is that you've been going through. How do we end this well, right? So in that sense, we can't. And in a way, I mean, I don't want to say to be grateful for that darkest hour, but if you overcome this, then God has, or God yourself, someone else, there's no doubt you were victorious, right? If we cut the doves, we made the offer. It's finished, it's completed, and we can, in a way, go home.